Welcome back to John Orfer's Note. Spain versus Italy. This is the big question in the Eurozone at the moment. Spanish bond yields are up a bit this morning, but if Spain goes into a bailout program, does Italy have to follow? Interesting things have been happening in the bond markets recently. With me to discuss them, Erik Nielsen, chief economist at Unicredit. Erik, looking at this chart, what's it you've spotted recently?
Well, the point is that here it starts to open up again. So we had, after the ECB came in with the OMT, a nice rally, but then people start to wonder whether the Spaniards actually would do the program, and that sort of started here, and the usual very nice correlation has started to break down a bit.
What does that mean, though, for the countries that markets expect Spain will have to go into a program, but not necessarily Italy?
Right. I think this is the assumption the market makes now. And then the Spaniards are dragging their feet, right? It's turned out tougher for the Spaniards to come to an agreement than we thought originally.
If you look behind that at the fundamentals, what are the differences in the politics or the economics of Spain versus Italy?
There are two big differences, right? Spain has a relatively good public sector still, but no private wealth. And Italy is the other way around. But the bigger difference, I think, here is that the Spanish government doesn't have many friends in Europe, where Monti is everybody's love.
Italy has the friends, you?
That's right.
All right, okay, because I think the assumption in markets previously was that Spain and Italy, their fates were intertwined. You're saying they're diverging a bit now.
Right, exactly.
Okay, and what does that mean for bond yields going forwards? I mean, if Spain goes up, it becomes inevitable it goes into a program, perhaps.
I think that's right, and I think exactly what you see now is the Spanish government are dragging the feet to, and probably will only do the program when these yields start to move a bit still higher. So I think we're going to see a still widening spread here. Okay,
but you think the Italian government will avoid being dragged along with?
Yes, I think so. They have their funding scheme is stronger than Spain's, and their overall communication policy about the reforms are stronger right now.
The big question, of course, is do those yields have to, we're looking at 2-year yields here, do they have to go back up to those peaks we saw back in July when we almost hit the 7% level in Spain's case?
I hope not, but my fear is they shouldn't, right? My fear is that the Spaniards are not moving quickly enough, and they will therefore drag them up that way. We probably won't get quite up to these levels, but my suspicion is that they could easily be maybe 50 or 70 higher before they pull the trigger.
Okay, let's broaden it out a bit and look at what this means for earnings, corporate earnings. We've got here the DAX in red against the Italian stock index, the FTSE MIB index. Again, we have a pretty strong correlation initially, but now diverging. What's going on?
I think the big story here is basically after Draghi made the announcement of the ECB policies, there was a relief rally fundamentally because the big bad tail risk of euro breakdown disappeared. So then you have a rally. This rally has nothing to do with earnings.
Universal, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. It has nothing to do with earnings, because earnings, as we will see this week and next week, are probably going to be quite weak. So there's it sort of petered out a little bit right now.
Well, you're saying people are now focusing more on earnings, is that what?
I think people are a little bit worried about earnings coming into this week.
Now the big risk has gone.
Right.
But then why are they diverging? People less worried about Germany?
Well, I mean, for sure, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the difference here is that German companies in the DAX are exporters, right? And while we are worried about Asia, we are less worried about America right now. So the German companies in this type of environment will always be a little bit more under pressure.
And the Italian economy, how's that going to fare? I mean, and with obviously big importance for earnings.
Right. I think this is the problem in Italy is we have the fact that we are at least 6, maybe 9 months away from a stabilization of domestic demand. So therefore, you're looking at the export side, and as you pointed out yourself, the euro has started to strengthen in this setting, and that means that the exporters, particularly in the peripheral, are under some pressure, less so than in Germany.
Okay, so we had a lot of common movement, now things moving apart again.
I think so. I think that's right.
Thank you, Erik. So we've had some strong correlations over the summer in bond and in equity markets. Now things are diverging a bit, different stories in different countries across the Eurozone. It's going to be quite interesting what happens in months to come.